Right-handed quarterback from California, number 11. And now a left-handed defenseman from G. Washington, number 12, Lane Eriks. And now right-handed defenseman from Northland, Washington, number 13, Asa Cheese. From Spokane, Washington, number 14, Isaac Lloyd. From Spokane, Washington, number 15, Colin Buchanan. Number 16, Holden Esperson. And a left-handed defenseman from Roswell, California, number 17, Matt Dean. The offensive forward from Federal, Washington, number 19, Joel Lewis. And left-handed forward from Spokane, Washington, number 21, Sam Thompson. A 6'3" defenseman from Blaine, Washington, number 22, Ryan Carew. And a 6'1" defenseman from Spokane, Washington, number 23, Trenton Brown. And a left-handed defenseman from Richmond, Washington, number 27, Casey Young. And a 5'9" forward from Port Lane, number 28, Jaden Bullbacker. Motor just went wild and rolling from Spokane. Make some noise for number 31, Sam Brash. And now a 6'2" goaltender from Blaine, Washington. Make some noise for number 33, Trenton Brown. Fans, we now request that you rise and remove your hats. The play of tonight's national anthem.
Welcome all you EWU fans out there in Facebook. My name is Gary Allen. I'm waiting for my sidekick, play-by-play announcer Tyler Busani to get up the stairs. He just did the intros to the night. This should be an interesting game tonight with the Eagles playing the University of Montana Grizzlies. Last year, the Grizzlies were a major force. I think they almost ended up going to the Nationals. This year, Eastern started off with a 4-game swing last weekend down in California in San Jose and Oakland. Pretty good games overall. I was down there. Pretty decent play by Eastern. In the last game, you throw that out, but the other 3 games are pretty tight. So I expect the Eagles to bounce back tonight. Outstanding crowd tonight. The EWU's mascots here just packed. So if you can make it out, definitely do so. If not, plan on coming tomorrow because it is a packed house. The catwalk is full. It's good to see for the opening night for EWU. Starting lineup for Eastern will be Joel Lust will be centerman. We got Isaac Hood out there with Sam Thompson. Very solid line. They played really well together down in the California swing. You got Brendan Carew. Pardon me, that's Ryan Carew. I'm sorry about that. Brandon Crew's in net. And it looks like the other defenseman will be Trenton Wells, who had an extremely strong performance down in the California games last week. We're about ready to start. Puck's just about ready to be dropped, but this will be interesting. There'll be a good test for Eastern tonight against U of M. Face-off won by Joel Lusk. Picked up by Trenton Wells. He's far side. Look for a quick pass out there. It'll be interesting because last year the Grizzlies were a pretty physical club, so we'll see if they play that same style this year. EWU is going to rely on a lot of speed this year. I noticed that down in the California swing. They counted on a heavy speed presence. And with so many new players, it'll take a while for them to blend. And that was the one thing that we picked up last week. It was just they were so new with each other that they were having trouble figuring out what they are. But that will happen with time. They'll start meshing. And that's what I expect in this game this weekend, actually both of them. Now they've had 4 games under their belt. They've had a couple practices. So hopefully that they picked up some tendencies that they have and then will get used to each other quickly. Face off down low to the right of Peru. Won by Montana. Picked up by Mason Pierich. He dumped it in but intercepted by Sam Thompson. Couple players that stood out last weekend quite a bit. You had Waylon Belair. He had a strong performance. Duncan Laughlin, these are new people. He played solid on his shifts. Hood played outstanding. And Cole Best has got to be just a find for EWU. His brother plays also, but Cole was a gamer last weekend. Outstanding hockey player. I have nothing but positives on him. EWU had it on the far boards. picked up by Montana, who intercepted it. Kicked over to Henry Morrison, who took a quick shot, and Mr. Crew was right there to backstop it. And that's one good thing about when you have Brendan Crew in net. You're going to be in the games. He's just a force down there for him. And here's my sidekick. He got up here after all those pregame introductions. He'll be right here on air pretty quick. Best play-by-play guy in hockey. Far shot picked up all the way around. Wagner for U of M, deep in his zone, kicks it on over to Garrett Weisenberger. Tyler's about ready. Here he is. There he is.
Oh, boy, we are back. I need to convince them to get me like a pulley system. Just share my way across the arena.
Nice.
Right?
That'd be nice. Then you could wave and stuff, all that. You could be your own pre-game ceremony.
See, I'm here for it, 100%.
No, I was just talking about earlier that I expect the Eastern to play a lot stronger than they did in that California swing because they have so many new players. Now they've had some time to start meshing with each other and start getting used to little tendencies that, with a new squad and this many new players, it's going to be tough.
Well, you and I talked about this in California last week, that this team is just gelling. I mean, those were really the first 4 games that they've played, and they'd only been a team for like a week and a half before that.
Yeah, you look at it, they have, 3 practices to count the red-white game. So,
well, there were some flashes in that red-white game that I think we saw there. We saw them in California. Anybody that was at the that second San Jose game, I think, or the first San Jose game, the first Cal game, I guess, really kind of saw what this team was made of.
Well, even the second game at San Jose, actually, they outplayed San Jose for a period and a half. They just got down a little bit too far, but Sam Brash played outstanding for those 2 games. Being a new goaltender as a freshman, he was really solid in that.
Yeah, you want to talk about the biggest surprise from California? Sam Brash, hands down.
Yeah. He was stellar for Eastern.
So, taking a look at this Eastern Washington lineup, like we said, some new guys. Number 2, Duncan Laughlin. Number 3, Waylon Belair. Cole Best, Jake's brother, out there, and he was another pleasant surprise in California.
I can't say enough good about Cole, but both Best. They're outstanding hockey players.
And Cole may be one of the tougher guys that I have ever seen. He got a little bit injured, missed a game in California, and then the next game he was like, I can't do this again. Strapped on the skates, went back out there, wasn't able to finish the game, but dang, that was a tough guy.
Oh, no kidding.
Speaking of a tough guy, Isaac Hood, center ice, big hit. Waking up the Montana Grizzlies here just under 3 minutes into the game.
And I noticed with Isaac Hood, another new player for Eastern, that you picked that up. He has a physical presence about him. He's not dirty, but he's going to definitely make sure he's around on the ice, and he will hit you.
That continuing down that list, we're looking Colin Buchanan, number 15, a 6-foot defenseman back there. Maybe a little bit of a replacement here for Paxton Dinwiddie, that big defenseman that can sit in front of the net.
Well, another kid I thought stood out on the wing is Casey Young too. He had a solid 4 games there for EWU.
Back out into the neutral zone, losing his skates there is Trent Wells. Had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with Trent this weekend, last weekend back in California. He was the only guy with me in the U-Haul, so lots of long talks. But he's excited for the season. I think he's excited for the team build as well. There's no cancers in the locker room. There's nobody that everybody's mad is on the team this year.
Well, again, people were talking about, 4 games to kick off right away, and that's a tough schedule. But the one positive is they have a lot of time in this season to make up for those losses. So it's not devastating. They got a lot of material they could work in playing that way. Plenty of time for them to regroup and be a force in this league.
Well, and we've been on these road trips before with the team, and there's always kind of these factions of guys, these little patches, cliques, if you will, and we just didn't have that this weekend. I mean, everybody was hanging out with everybody. We didn't leave anybody this year. That's a big plus.
Yeah, but that's going to be Ace's legacy for Cheney.
It will be.
Ace and Cheney's legacy for the hockey team being left last year. No, but I have high hopes for Eastern. I think that with the coaching staff, they're a solid bunch. And now they added Joey Porco. And so I think they just needed some time. And unfortunately, they started 4 games. But, again, plenty of time to recover.
Well, and you mentioned something there. Joey Porco, who, if you're an Eastern fan and you have been for any length of time, you know Joey Porco. If you're from Spokane, you know the Porco family. He was hired as the club sports coordinator during the offseason, and it'll be really nice to have a club sports coordinator in that role that understands the game of hockey, understands what we do. He was just as excited about tonight, I think, as everybody else was.
And I think he'll help with the D-men. Since he played it for I don't know how many years, I don't want to make him sound old, but for at least probably 20 years, he could bring some insight on how he wants the D-men to play. So I think that's a positive also.
Pass back up the ice. That's going to be picked up by Hamlin of the Grizz.
There's my man Tank. He's back this year. I was
he's
ecstatic.
Another one that came back.
Yeah.
Excited for Jaden Hofacker.
He's a funny fellow. He loved that nickname.
And he embodies it.
He does.
I mean, we see it kind of everywhere we go. You got to watch out for the kid with the long hair. And I'm actually surprised he cut his hair last year. Yeah. It's already back.
Yeah.
I don't
have that luck. So.
7 shots on net so far for Montana. And it's the one area from California that was kind of consistent through all of the games was Eastern's lack of neutral zone play. That's something they'll have to fix as they go through the season, but nice, easy pass right out front. What a big save by Brendan Carew. A second one with his other leg pad.
Well, that's what I was talking about. When you got Carew in the net, you're going to be in games. There's no question. He's an outstanding netminder. But you were touching on it. I think with Eastern, if they can settle in their zone a little bit better, get the puck out, and the neutral zone play, like you said, they pick that up, they'll get some more offense. But that was one thing that was hurting them down there in California, was that their offensive attack was a little bit slower until they got in their rhythm. And then they started work, but by then they were a little bit too far behind.
And a delayed penalty coming against the Grizz. Looks like Eastern Washington going to get their first power play of the season. And we'll see if they're able to get on the board first here. The officials have a mic. Let's see if they use it. It'll be a high stick. Against Will Pankratz. So Pankratz going to sit 2 minutes for a high stick. Eastern cycling the puck in the offensive end. A little slip through the legs and almost found its way into the net. Hood circles back towards the blue line, thinks about it, puts that one just off of the mark there. Lusk going to pick it up in the corner. Now back to Hood. Hood, an errant pass into the neutral zone. Wells going to go back and pick it up. Quick reset for Eastern Washington. The freshman Young over to Wells. And almost tripping was Kevin Moore, the netminder for Montana. Quick one-touch passes here for Eastern Washington, maybe a little bit quicker than they meant. 1:08 left on the power play for Eastern Washington.
Another kid I'm really excited about is Joel Luss this year. I think he's going to be that person that's going to fill in for Mitch Hunt and Reed Kaiser on their scoring. As soon as he starts realizing he's going to be an offensive force, the kid played extremely well in California, and I'm counting on him to pick up some of that slack in the scoring for the Eagles because he is unbelievably talented.
He is, and I think once they get kind of clicking on all cylinders, a couple of series into this season, and we'll see if anybody's going to get called for that one. Might have just been, looks like they will. No, they're just going to give them the face-off there. A little rub into the post there. Sending a message early on. These posts aren't held on very well. I blame the rink manager, Travis Allen, for the...
But like you were mentioning, when you look at Joel Lusk, he's got all new line mates this year. And so it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to each other. But I think they're going to click once they get going. And I think you're going to see a lot of points out of that line. Same with the Best Brothers line. Those two played basically for a long time together. And you could see it down in California. They were clicking really well. And with Frank Flood on their line, who played really well down in California too, that's going to help because Flood's a banger.
But anybody that's had kids growing up in hockey knows that not just on the ice, but they've got a stick in their hand all the time. If you've got a sibling at home, that's only going to make you that much better. So it'll be great to see what Cole and Jake are able to do throughout this season.
Well, their styles are so similar too, and they just play solid hockey. Very high IQ out of both of them.
This one back out into the neutral zone, back to five-a-side hockey. Picking it up are the Grizz. Bringing it across the blue line is Javier Hamlin. He's going to take that shot off of the blocker of Brendan Carew. Puck low side now. Stopped off by Best. It's going to go into the neutral zone. And now along the low wall by Hendrickson for the Grizz. He's going to push that too far. It'll be icing, and the puck going to head back down in front of Kevin Moore's net for the Grizzlies. 9 shots for Montana so far in this one, just 2 for the Eastern Washington Eagles. Big crowd here tonight, as we expect on opening night. Capacity here across the catwalk, completely full.
It is huge. The crowd is huge here tonight.
I think that's a testament to what these boys have gone out and done. They went out and handed out 500 flyers around campus this week. I mean, they really want to see this place packed as much as everybody else does, and it shows. And I think that says a lot about the culture that they've been able to build here at Eastern.
Well, yeah, you look at last year's attendance, it was massive for the majority of the game. I mean, I think people are understanding Eastern has a good hockey program here, and it's catching on.
Lee with it. Makes a couple of men miss, and then has the puck taken off of his stick.
Right now, Eastern's matching U of M pretty well, except in the neutral zone. That's where the Grizzlies seem to be a little bit further, a little quicker step than Eastern right now. Besides that, it's an even game.
There's a player on top of Carew's legs.
And they have to talk about that one because I can't. That looked like it was interference to me. I don't know if we can get a replay on that, but he was laying on top of Carew, and that's what Carew did. He got up. He was wondering, like, how come he couldn't get up? Coaches are asking the same thing out of the officials, but I think they're going to count it.
Going back, looking at it on our replay machine here. Sorry we can't share that with you. But yeah, Carew on the ice with a player that kind of falls on top of him as that puck is shot. But the officials still having a conversation at the Eastern Washington bench.
That's interesting.
And we can do video replay in the ACHA. Maybe we need to talk to the rink manager about getting that set up.
Yeah.
But as it stands, the University of Montana taking an early lead here, 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
And they take nothing against
And Eastern looking to strike quick.
Nothing to take away from the Grizzlies' goal, but it does help when you're laying on top of the netminder.
It does. The face-off coming to the glove side of the Montana netminder. Joel Lusk going to square up for Eastern Washington. And the Grizz through the neutral zone, a breakaway opportunity here for Creamers. And what a save by Brendan Carew, who then immediately is snowed in the face. And the Eastern Washington players not a fan of that one, and they are letting the Grizzlies know these two might not be in the same conference here in the hockey world, but they are Big Sky opponents in just about everything else. And you can hear how loud this crowd is getting. This is the type of hockey that Cheney is ready for.
Well, and that was a question mark. Eastern always had guys that would always respond when anyone took liberty on them. And last week it wasn't that physical, but it was good to see Sam Thompson respond, because he had some sparks down in definitely against Cal. He wasn't going to take a lot of play from anybody, and so he responded, and that it bodes well for Eastern. Let people know, no, you're not going to take advantage of us. But I do like how Eastern's responding right now from that goal from Montana, because you never know. Usually the team that scores will get a little burst of energy and the other team is scrambling, but Eastern's responded extremely well. It looks like definitely think they're going to give 2 5s would be my hunch, and then 2 minors.
Yeah, it looks like for Eastern Washington, we've got Thompson, and I think Young was the other player that went in there. And for the Grizz, it looks like Toyhala and Frank. We'll see what they put up on the board here. It might be Hood in the box. Looking across, that is who it looks like. Isaac Hood and Sam Thompson.
I like it. I just love how Sam Thompson plays. That guy, he's just a handful.
He's going to take no guff from nobody.
Plus, he has some good hockey skills. He can be an offensive force, but he plays hockey how it should be.
This is a good time to mention the the Eagles Hockey Booster Club out here supporting the team. They help pay for those flights down to California. They buy food and snacks for the team. They really just take care of the team. If you want to be a part of that, you want to hand out the 3 stars, be invited to some special engagements, head on over to EaglesHockeyBoosters.com. You can find them on Facebook at Eagles Hockey Boosters as well. Looks like they sent another player to the Grizz box. We'll see if we can get our official connection from over there. But it's getting a little crowded on the Montana side.
They're just getting to know each other a little better, a little team bonding.
Eastern Washington on a 5-on-4 power play. It looks like the only non-coincidental is going to be to Max Toyhala. So the Eagles back on a power play here, looking to capitalize and bring this one back within 1 off of a mistake by the Grizz. This one right out front. Unable to keep their head on straight. Now some pushing and shoving behind the net as well. The official's going to have to tighten this one down, or it's going to get potentially out of hand. We're only 10 minutes into this game, Gary.
Well, it is getting feisty. There's no question about that. And before I forget, you mentioned the booster. I was going to ask earlier, Cam, I got hit up by a couple people coming in here. Can they order apparel online through the Boosters Club? Or how do they go about doing that?
All of the apparel is online at EaglesHockeyBoosters.com. The team's working on some team apparel as well, but you can get your Eagle gear now at EaglesHockeyBoosters.com. Find out what they do. But back on this power play now, Eric's having to fight off Pankratz, who's going to pin that against the wall. 30 seconds already down on this power play. Back out into the neutral zone. Good poke away by Frank Flood, and now having to chase it is Ferreira, and he's going to get it up and around. Tierney giving chase, Young giving chase. And 1:10 left on the Eastern Washington power play. Up to the near side to Best. Cole wings it over to Mac Tierney. Tierney sends it in around the runner. First player there is going to be Frank Flood. He plays it back to Young. Young back down low again. And he's not able to keep it in. Now breakaway opportunity for the Grizz as Weissenberger is denied by the blocker of Brendan Carew, his 10th save of the evening. And a big hit on Young's going to remove him from the puck. And that'll be a shorthanded goal for the University of Montana.
And that was a tough one right there, what the U of M player did. And it was a clean hit, but he came in from behind on Young, knocked him down and stole the puck, top shelf. That was tough for Crew to handle because I don't think he expected Young to lose the puck, but I don't think he expected the U of M player to come in and bulldoze him over either.
That goal scored 11:33 of the first period. It was Will Pankratz shorthanded. And now a big check from behind right in front of the linesman. The official's going to call that one. As soon as Montana touches the puck, Eastern going to try and get one more offensive attack here in a 6-on-5 formation. Or actually, I'm sorry, a 6-on-4. Still 15 seconds left on the power play. Eastern not in a hurry to reset the play in the attacking zone. Here comes Hofacker through center ice. Skates around Stevenson, thinks about the shot. Instead, wings it around the boards. Now to the far side to Cole Best. Wells sends that towards the net. And we'll see. We're going to get a check from behind finally. First time the Grizz have touched the puck in a couple of minutes. Boxes are empty except for the Grizz sin bin. And they're going to get him for a check from behind. That looks like it's Javier Hamlin.
Well, what's interesting about that call, that was the same one that the player that scored for U of M did when he came in. He checked Young from behind. It was almost identical hit. And the second one got called, but the first one didn't.
When I was watching the official on that one, and he did hesitate for a second.
He did.
And that's what you want. You want officials that are going to stop and think about it for half a sec. Make sure they're making the right call. But we'll see how this goes as you see him tied up again. And another kind of awkward body check by Knutson. Eagles on the power play again. Have it dumped back behind their net. Carew with it. Eriks almost has his pocket picked. A heavy forecheck on the penalty kill by the Grizz. I guess if you go 1 for 2 and score a shorty, that's probably going to happen. Tierney looking down the ice, sees Best. Best didn't see it coming, went right to his skates. He's going to have to hop on his horse. He's not going to get there. Beat out by Michael Anderson, the right-handed defenseman from Wisconsin.
One thing I've noticed with the Grizzlies are trying to do now, they're playing a dump and chase game, and they're jumping it specifically in a corner, and they're flooding 2 people on top of the EWU D-man, trying to make them cough up a turnover for them. But they're definitely working out of the neutral zone too, and Eastern's going to have to make an adjustment on that. But besides that, this game's been evenly matched in my view.
Dittman wins the faceoff, gets the immediate shot off to the block, the leg pad of Carew. Eastern not looking like they're on a power play here for the first 53 minutes. I'm sorry, 53 seconds of the penalty. It's early.
Yeah, it is.
It's early. People still haven't sent me my calculator. That one squirts away past Carew, but quickly there to pick it up is a veteran defenseman, Wells. Wells for Eastern Washington. Lays it ahead to Lusk. Lusk has Thompson on the outside. He's going to think about taking it himself, and that one sticked up into the netting. A little flash of Reed Kaiser there as he came across the blue line. He was ready to drive that straight towards the net. I think that's what Eastern's going to need this year to replace some of that production like you were talking about.
Well, Lusk definitely has the skill to do it. He just has to start, corralling himself a little bit. But no, I expect a lot of points out of him this year.
This one's going to skirt all the way back to Carew. Brendan going to hold off that, leave it for his little brother Ryan, who pushes it up ahead to Lusk. Lusk able to keep it in. He's going to take a couple of steps right into the logo and a big hit after the play. The officials are going to have to get a handle on this or it's not going to end well. That was a good 3, 4, 5 seconds after he let go of that puck. And I'm completely okay if the officials let this go in a normal game, but not with as chippy as it's been. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get run.
Well, it's going to increase the tension between both clubs. If they're going to allow it, then you might. If the other team, you might as well take advantage of it.
Well, these are two teams that are not afraid to throw their body around. 24 seconds left on the power play. But both very protective of their netminders as well.
Mm-hmm. One thing I would like to see Eastern do a little bit more, start plopping a guy in front of the netminder, try to take some of his vision away, because the Grizz goaltender looks like he's on top of his game right now. And that's one way to try to get him off of it.
You hear the Let's Go Eagles chants here at the URC. Shot taken by Wells, but immediately sticked back. Now Cheney looking to force that up the ice. Belly gets it. He's going to push it back to Wagner. Now circling back towards his own net is Pirich. Now down the low wall is Wagner again. He's going to stop, turn, try and feed it back to his own man at the point, but nobody there. This one out into the neutral zone. Hofacker pushes it ahead to Belair. Belair back to Hofacker, who's knocked off of the puck. And that'll be a hold, and now some pushing and shoving after the play. And they're going to call that a hold. Eastern Washington going to go back to the power play. They haven't made Montana pay for it yet, but maybe this is their opportunity. 14:50 into this first period.
Well, see, that was a nice play by Waylon Belair. And again, it goes back to they're so new to each other, but he did a nice job of coming in on that near board. He was looking for Tank the whole way, did a nice little pass between the defender's leg. Really heads up by Waylon on that.
And without that penalty, I think Hofacker might have been able to walk in. I mean, that was a great pass going back to it. That one's going to skitter all the way down the ice. 5 minutes remaining in the opening period. Mac Tierney going to set this up from behind his own net. Eastern Washington down the ice across the blue line into the neutral zone goes Flood. Flood's going to rim it around as he crosses the attacking blue line. Cole Best on the far side. He's looking for that wraparound to Jake out front and just couldn't hold on to it. This one back down into the corner. Trying to force it out front was Cole again. Jake there. Back to Tierney. Tierney able to hold it in. Stick goes flying. Best with the puck. Takes a couple of steps. Fires it on net. In and out of the glove of Moore. And now back towards Brendan Carew. 1:10 left on the power play.
Moore's having a solid game for the Grizzlies right now. He definitely looks like a wall.
Puck off the wall. Right to the stick of Ferreira. Pushing, shoving towards the top of the zone, but puck back behind the net now. Wells, easy pass off to Best, to his feet. He didn't see it. Now Wells going to reset. Feeds it up to a man right in front of the box. That's Jake Best. Jake ahead to Flood, who's going to set it behind the net. Eastern Washington going to get a full sail line change here. Lusk lining up his man, decides not to as Morrison gets rid of it. Now Ryan Carew on the far side. Hood going to use some speed. And lays it off to Cheney. This one pushed ahead to Thompson. Chance for Hood in the center of the zone, and he can't get a hold of the puck. They're going to have to chase it all the way back down the ice as the Grizz penalty expires. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this opening period here in Cheney, Washington, the home opener for the Eastern Washington Eagles taking on the University of Montana Grizzlies. 2:58. And a big hit by Hood right at where the center stripe meets the wall. Bouncing puck out in front of the net. Nobody sees it. Finally, it's cleared out, but an Eastern Washington player down on the ice. I think that's Ryan Carew. He's going to pick up a penalty here, or earn a penalty rather, as the Grizz go back to the box for their 5th penalty of the game.
Eastern's going to have to try to capitalize one of these times on the man advantage. Because obviously Montana's going to play physical. You can see that from the get-go, and they're taking some extra liberty, so they're going to get some penalties.
This penalty coming 17-17 of the first period. It is Pablo Frank. And I missed the call, Gary. You happen to catch what that was?
I thought he initially called an interference on him, but it looked like it was another checking from behind from my angle.
For Eastern Washington, you've got to make Montana pay for these mistakes by finding the back of that net. Who is going to open up their scoring account here at home first this year? Eric stretches, able to get that. Now over to the far side. Lusk trying to feed it to Hood down low. He gets it to him. Thompson fighting out front for position. Hood still with the puck down low. He's pinned off into the corner. And now it's sent over to the far side. Lusk up top to Eriks. Eriks thinks about it, fires a shot into traffic. Now Lusk on the far side, 1:15 left on the power play. Shot taken off of the window, and it's going to bounce over to Hood. Hood for Eastern Washington. Spins along the wall, leaves it up for Tierney. Instead, he's going to go to the far side to Lusk. Lusk tries to get that one home, can't get it past the netminder. And then Moore giving Lusk a little shove back towards the wall. Separates him from the puck just enough to send it back down the ice, give his guys a chance to get back from the bench. Cole Best looking at that one, couldn't get it past Wagner. Wagner looking for that pass out front, well read by Frank. Flood now trying to get it out of the zone, can't get it. Circling back along the low wall. And Dittman now. He loses it. It's going to go all the way back to his defenseman, Hamlin. 21 seconds left on the power play. Cheney having to chase that one. Chips it up just far enough to Flood. Cheney on the far side. He's going to go off of the wall. Too big of a bounce. And that's going to get sent back towards the goal mouth. Montana penalty expires. Cheney loses that puck between his legs, but he gets it right back. Gets it out of the zone, trying to get it ahead to Best. Best had no idea it was coming, so back on the stick of a Grizz. To the center of the zone, Eastern Washington trying to get it out. Less than 30 remaining in the first period. The Eagles just trying to survive and get back to the locker room here. Down 2-0. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen some late heroics in this building in front of a capacity crowd. The chance now for Montana as they lost Hamlin. Belair looking to skirt past that. And that'll be it for the first period here in Cheney, as the Grizz making good work of that penalty box door, sending 6 different players to the penalty box during that period. Eastern Washington on the flip side, only 2 players sent to the sin bin, but Montana leading where it counts most, 2-0 over the Eastern Washington Eagles. You're watching Eastern Washington University men's hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center, where we've got a battle of Big Sky football schools here with the Eastern Washington Eagles and the visiting University of Montana Grizzlies. My name's Tyler Pisani, joined as always by the wonderful Gary Allen. Gary, 2 goals in that first period, one of them a real bad bounce, bad luck goal. What's Eastern have to do to stay in it here in the second?
The only thing I really think Eastern needs to do is close up the neutral zone. That's where the Grizzlies are setting everything up. Their whole offensive attack is set up through the neutral zone. And if Eastern can clog that up a little bit more, that'll play havoc with U of M. But that's what I've seen. And that's the only thing that they're really doing to Eastern is that neutral zone. But Eastern's matched them really well in that first period. I was very impressed with Eastern coming out.
Montana not able to stay out of the box in that first period. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do here in the second as that one goes straight up into the sky. But 6 different power plays for Eastern Washington in that last period, and the only team to score was Montana shorthanded.
Yeah, and that's one thing that hurt Eastern. They didn't take advantage of it, and their power play will come around. Hopefully they get a little bit stronger because I think U of M is going to go in the box. That's just their style. They're really physical, really aggressive. They're going to get called on some penalties. Eastern's going to have to respond to that. But like we talked about before, what I saw, nice stop by Moore, is Eastern that last time they were on the power play, Sam Thompson just was raising havoc in front of Moore and the defense. But in fact, Moore was hitting him, trying to get him out of his way. And that's how you do it. You disrupt them by putting someone in front of the netminder. And I was happy to see that because that's going to bode well for Eastern.
Pass right out front, but that one bounces off the side of the cage. The Eagles able to maintain possession at least for a second in the attacking zone. Puck still floating around in front of the Zamboni door. Dangerous pass, but picked up by the Grizz. Now into the neutral zone goes Knutson. He's going to bring it across the blue line, cuts towards the center, thinks about a shot, goes to the far side. Big save by big Brendan Carew.
That was a nice job by Mr. Carew on that one. He went left to right pretty quick on that. And then there was a nice job of screening by the Grizzlies on that. Well played by him. But again, I liked how Eastern collapsed also with him. So if there was a rebound, they had each of their guys tied up. So that's something I didn't see last weekend either. So Eastern's getting better and better as a team.
And more of that practice throughout the year. And that's really the biggest issue, not biggest issue, but the toughest part of college hockey is you're never going to have the same team year after year. Even your core guys, there's always going to be some sort of a change. Best pushes that one back towards the goal mouth as Cole saw the hit coming and just wanted to get rid of the puck.
Well, and that's smart on his part, especially since last weekend. And he's a physical kid. You can see it. But like I was talking to him, like, hey, no, maybe you ought to try to dip a little bit more instead of taking it front up. But that's not his style. He just laughed at me when I said that. Again, that looked like a checking from behind from my angle up here. And U of M has been doing that, and they're allowed to. And so I can't see why they would change it. But, man.
Well, and even when they're not allowed to, Eastern Washington not making them pay for these mistakes. And if you're the University of Montana, I'm going to keep taking penalties until they show me that they're going to punish me for it.
And you can't fault them. I mean, you can tell that's their style. They're a heavy team. In other words, what I mean by that, they're physical. They're going to bang on you. And if they get away with it, why change? You're right. Unless you penalize them by scoring on them, the coaching would, as a former coach, you'll accept that because it's working.
The top line for the Eagles back out there. It looks like they're actually there he is on the far side. Hiding was Hood back in that far corner. Didn't come over to the faceoff circle. And that's where the puck went. Thompson tried to push that back out, but now a chance here for Hood. He's got Lusk on the far side. Hood thinks about it, makes one man miss. Forehand, backhand, right back across the front. Hood just not able to get enough on it. Took a couple of steps too close to the net. That's that spot that the Eagles are going to have to pass this year. We saw that last year. They gave up quite a few easy saves because they wouldn't pass the puck in that zone.
Well, I think what Hood was doing really well, he used Lusk as a decoy, and he was trying to do it, and the puck just rolled off his stick at the very end when he was getting ready to shoot on the goaltender. But nice dekes that he had. But you're right, Lusk was wide open, but I think Hood was planning on using him all along as a decoy. Lusk did a nice job of finishing it. He went in like he was going to get the pass. It just rolled off his stick at the end.
A good defensive slide there by the Grizz player. It really kind of caused Hood to rethink what he was doing, and I think pull that puck back on the toe drag, and that's what caused that the rolling.
But it was a great attempt at the toe drag. It just went a little bit too far.
Was. Those will be those plays that as they get further on in the season, they'll connect, they'll come together.
Yeah. But I did like what I saw there, and that's where they're clicking a little bit more, because you could tell Lusk knew he was going to be a decoy on it. You could just see how he was skating, but he still finished it and went all the way in and played the play out totally.
Now here comes Hood again. He's just going to dump it down into the corner, and actually that's more towards the goal mouth. Thompson crashing the netminder. It's pushed off over to the far side. Near side, Irby picks it up. He pushes it out into the center over the stick of a couple of players. Wells has to give chase. A spin around move there by Pankratz, and he's able to separate the puck for just a moment, but now here comes Eastern the other way. Wells across the center stripe, tries to dump it in, can't get it. And now Eastern having to reset with 4 black jerseys on the near side. Turnover in neutral ice. And another big save by Brendan Carew. Bouncing puck along the low side wall. Cole Best chopping at it, now into neutral ice. Just over the edge of that blue line, circling back this time is Toyala. Kicked away by Flood, but right to the stick of another Grizzly, and what a shot from the top of the zone. I don't even think Carew saw that one coming towards him, and Creamers adds an early one here in this period. That'll go coming 4 minutes and 17 seconds from Ben Creamers to make it 3-0 in favor of the Grizz.
What the Grizzlies have, they made an adjustment, and they're putting more pressure on Eastern in Eastern zone than they did in the first period, and they're really counting on Eastern to make a mistake, and so they're flooding them pretty heavily right now.
Eastern starting to throw the body a little bit as Eriks pins his man against the boards. On the far side is Toyala. And Lachlan sends that towards the net mouth. Freshman Duncan Lachlan making a play out here in the second period for Eastern Washington. Now giving chase is Morrison for the Grizz. He's knocked off of the puck by Tierney. Left behind him for Creamers, the latest goal scorer. Puck pinned behind the boards below the catwalk here at the URC. Puck right out in front, bouncing around. Back to the stick of a Grizz. Lee backhands it out to Frank. And another shot and a goal by the University of Montana. Eastern Washington not clearing that puck out of the slot. And that's going to put them down another goal here in the second.
And that's what I was making reference to. You can see what the Grizzlies are doing now. They're just going total offensive attack, and every chance they get, they're flooding 2 players in, trying to make Eastern cough the puck up, and Eastern's kind of chasing it right now. And the Grizzlies are just putting a lot of heat on them. And make no mistake, University of Montana has a good hockey club, and they look like they can change on the fly.
Lusk going to try and throw his body a little bit, but shouldered off by Knutson. And another stoppage in play, 14:26 left to play in the second period.
I realize it's still early in this hockey game, But you just kind of get the feeling, I don't know if you're feeling this way too, Tyler, but Eastern's going to have to score the next goal to try to slow the Grizzlies down, because right now the Grizzlies are on fire.
Well, I don't want to be the one to point this out, but Eastern is 14-0 over the last 4.5 periods. So the Eagles definitely going to have to find the back of the net here. And we always say it, Gary, goals are like ketchup. You just got to get it started, and then they all come. Right now, their problem is getting that knife in the jar.
Yeah, and just for a confidence level, you're going to have to try to get one behind this netminder. I mean, tip your cap off to Moore. He's played outstanding, but they're going to have to really put some heat on him and get some players in front of his vision, see if they can get him off his game, because this next goal is crucial.
Right out front, backhanded towards the net mouth, but can't get it into the blue paint. Flood going to give chase now on the far side. And a good play there from his backside by the Grizz defender. Now Belly, he's going to leave it off. That one just wide of the net. It's going to bounce over to the far side. We're waiting for it as Perich. That one off of the runner behind the net. And now into the corner. Carew didn't see it. Ryan Carew. And we'll have a stoppage and bring this puck back out into neutral ice.
Well, the Grizzlies are doing a great job of putting traffic in front of Carew right now. So I think it's keeping him a little bit off balance because he's not really sure which way they're going to attack him. And hats off to Grizzlies for doing that. They're just putting a lot of motion in front of Carew, and that's hard for a netminder to track down the puck.
Puck in through the neutral zone. Grizz going to bring it across the line. Down into the corner. That one's sent back up to the point to Wagner. Wagner walks it across the blue stripe. Lays it off now right out front for Balk, who puts it on net. Goalie's helmet is off. Takes a good 4 or 5 seconds for them to blow the whistle, and Eastern Washington not happy with that, and they're going to take it out on the Grizzly player.
And you can't blame him. They're just standing up for the goaltender. He got his helmet. So I'm surprised the whistle didn't blow right away, because that's an automatic whistle on that. And again, it goes back to the Grizzlies play just kind of on that borderline of, yeah, they're aggressive, but they're taking some liberties on this. And it was good to see that Eastern responded on that one, because the goalie was wide open. That was Eric's, one of them that got into the tussle. Turney came in to join him.
So it looks like they're going to go 1-1. So it'll be Eric's for Eastern Washington and Pankratz for the Grizz. This is the Grizzlies' second penalty of the period. These penalties coming at 7:03.
Well, Mac Turney's definitely got a call in there. He's in the box, and I'm not if he's going to get a third man in on that, because he jumped right in on top of Eric's and the Grizzlies player, because he took a major offense to what he was seeing.
So as it stands, Montana up 4-0 over Eastern Washington, out shooting the Eagles 25-14 on opening night here in Cheney. A packed house. If you're not here, be sure to get here tomorrow. You can get your tickets at EWU EaglesHockey.com, or if you're a student, you just walk up, show your student ID, and they'll let you right in.
Either way, get in the game.
We will be here. You better be here. If you're not, come hang out with us again. Conversation with the officials. We'll see where this ends up, how it shakes out. Right now, Eastern going to be down a man. Only their second penalty kill of the day.
Well, I think it's time Eastern may want to just kick in a little bit of their game plan and just start putting more offense. Take a few gambles. You're down 4-0. Go ahead and pinch your D-man down every once in a while, because Wells is an offensive-minded defenseman. Eric's, he showed it last year. He'll go down because he's a former forward. It's time to put a little more heat on that netminder of the Grizzlies.
Only 14 shots so far. Looks like Tierney going to get a double minor here. So 4 minutes in the sin bin for Mac Tierney, the first power play of the game for the Grizzlies. And it looks like Pankratz and Eriks going to get coincidental minors. So 5-on-4 hockey in favor of the Grizzlies. 12:57 left to play in the second period. This will go a long way if Eastern Washington can keep them out of the back of the net here on this extended man advantage.
Well, definitely shift the momentum. There's no question about that, because right now Montana has it.
Balk with it near side. He's going to go to the far side. Knutson picks it up, feeds it up top to Hendrickson. Hendrickson to Balk off of the leg pads of the netminder. And that one wisely cleared down the ice. Out of his net is Kevin Moore. He's going to slow that down. Here to pick it up is Hendrickson. Plays it ahead to Knutson across the blue line, streaking towards the net. He loses it behind him, and he is immediately sat down by Ryan Carew. Actually, by Trent Wells. Balk through traffic. That one off of the post as it bangs towards the back wall. 1 minute gone of this power play. Grizz lay it off. Now off of the near side wall. Hofacker's going to pick it up and just dump it down the ice. Hendrickson up on the low wall. Carrying it is Max Toyala. Flood loses that at his feet, but separates the puck from the Grizz, at least for the moment. 2:30 left to play on this man advantage. Wagner at the top of the zone. Down to the low wall, back up to Wagner. He's going to go to the far side in front of his own bench. Back to Wagner up top. Saucer pass down into the corner. Still with Wagner. He's going to go to the far side, in and out of the glove of Carew. Wagner kicks that one, keeps it in the zone. Turning shot by Belly. Bouncing puck behind the net, right into the midsection of Flood as Hood was trying to clear it. Under 2 minutes to play. Eastern killing the first half of this double minor. Now over to the far side, near side. Mishandled puck by Creamers. Belly has it to Creamers across the zone, and a good backdoor read by Ryan Carew. He saw the player there and immediately got in the way of the puck. Out front again to Flood, who loses it at his feet. And this one's going to get just across the blue line, forcing the Grizz to reset with 1:23 to play into this period. Wagner now. He's going to try and take on the entire Eastern defense. Kicked away by Carew, back out front. Now over to the far side, puck into the air, back into the corner. Carew stacks his pads, looking to get back to one knee. This one out front again, and now Eastern Washington able to clear it with 1 minute left on the power play. Carew having to work hard for that. Good clearance all the way back up front. Knutson to Lee. Lee trying to feed it back to Knutson off of the far wall. Now back to Morris on the far side for the Grizz. This one goes up top to Ferreira. And again, squirts down the ice, 40 seconds. And Hofacker giving chase, but Ferreira going to get there first. Final 30 seconds of the man advantage. Balk on the far side. Has Knutson out front. Balk still with it. He's got Ferreira up top, who takes that shot, fires a missile into the corner. Waiting out front for the puck is Balk. Bouncing around, waiting for it. Still Balk in the slot. Puck sent to the corner, goes back up to the top of the zone where Ferreira has it. Kicked away into the corner by Carew. Eastern Washington back to full strength. Comes to the near side. Second period, Eastern still going to have to get all the way back to their end of the ice to get fresh legs on the ice. There goes Deuce. Wyatt Stevenson heading to the bench. And Thompson able to dump that in. And now Hood all alone. Looks to go to the front of the net and again off of the chest of Moore. Eastern getting a couple of breakaway opportunities, but Moore doing a good job of putting that Grizz logo right on the puck every time.
Moore's doing an outstanding job for the Grizzlies right now. He is just stellar.
Bringing it into the zone. This time was Weisenberger. He scored once today. Punched into the air by Carew, and a much-needed break for the netminder for Eastern Washington with 8:09 left to play in the second.
One thing I've noticed on the University of Montana, they have adjusted in the second period, is they're making Eastern play wide. They're spreading them out, which is opening up a lot of passing lanes, and they're shooting a guy over, and they're looking for that cross skater. They've done a really nice job of that, and that's how they've gotten a lot of their offensive possessions on net, because they have definitely spread out EWU.
And Eastern's doing a good job of marking that man on the back post, which is something that I think they maybe struggled with a little bit in California. But you're right, that is stretching them out quite a bit. Tierney taking one now. Eastern just wearing the puck in this period.
And that's what's helping Montana put on that offensive attack, is because they have so many passing lanes open. Eastern shut down, like you said, that guy that's on the side of the net, but now he went off to the side of the net. So they've done a nice job of spreading Eastern out. They just have to close them down and quit chasing them a little bit, and Eastern will be fine.
Face-off coming stick side of Brendan Carew. That's going to squirt down the ice. Lusk digs that out of a player's skates and almost walks it in towards the goal mouth. Hood picks it up in the center of the zone, looking for some help. He turns, fires, bounces right back out front. And now the Grizzlies heading the other direction. Here to pick it up is Dittman. He tries to feed it across. Eastern back out into the neutral zone. Lusk has to get on his horse. He's the first one there. Takes that shot from distance, but the Eagles getting fresh skates on the ice. Nobody there for the rebound. A 2-on-1 opportunity for the Grizz. And Brendan Carew standing tall on that one. Hugs it, pins it to the ice with 7:03 to go for his 28th save of the contest.
Well, the Grizzlies definitely opened up their offense. They've decided to just go ahead and attack from all zones right now. They're looking for that 2-on-1 break, and it's worked the last couple times. Eastern just has to settle in a little bit more defensively and really close down the Grizzlies' attack with that wide open style. And you do that with the body.
Dive by Carew. Puck way outside. Grizzlies back with it. Flood now trying to chip it down the ice. Held in the neutral zone by the linesman on the far side. Creamers has it, tries to feed it out front. Back to Creamers at the low post. The defense by Trenton Wells by the Eagles to knock him off of the iron. Now Flood trying to chip it out. One thing I've noticed the Grizzlies do really well in the attacking zone is really pinch that wall. There's no pucks that are getting by on the ice. And now here comes Cole Best, and he's picked from behind by Frank. Frank across the blue line, has a man streaking. He's going to make a couple of men miss, gets it over there, but nobody home. Now the Eagles looking to give chase. Bouncing puck off of the wall. Cole going to head back to the bench. And the Grizz looking for that stretch pass, but well read by Wells. And what a pass back out front. Big save by Carew. But a nifty backhand pass there right to the close side of the crease, and Carew did a good job of reading that from behind.
It would just be interesting to see if Eastern get that next goal, because you can see that they're getting close to clicking, but it's kind of like Moore shut them down so much, so they're kind of a little bit hesitant. But Eastern, they just have to play within themselves, but they're showing signs that they could get this going if they get one behind Moore.
But if they can keep this momentum and this style through this period, I think they'll be okay heading into the third. A lot of these breakouts are just being killed because it's the second period. When you're down there, you got to get fresh skates on the ice when you can.
And that's part of the Grizzlies' attack, though, by spreading Eastern out. The passing lanes are wide open, and that's why they're getting a lot of 2-on-1s. Eastern can make a quick adjustment on that. They just got to get that puck in the net, get that confidence going with their offense.
Another neutral zone turnover. This time, Tierney swinging a miss there. Belair able to get it out into the center. Now a chance for Wyatt Stevenson. And Eastern going to pick up a penalty as Mac Tierney heading back to the penalty box. 15:03 of the second period. Chance on a breakout there by the Eagles, killed by another penalty.
And they need to be careful with that, because right now the way the Grizzlies are cycling, they're putting so much pressure on the D-man and the netminder when they're on the man advantage. Again, the Eastern sealed out the last couple of them, so hopefully they'll continue with that, and then they start opening up a little bit more on their offense.
Best looking to pick that up and chase it down the line, but nothing doing. A shot and a goal, a quick conversion there for Montana, just 9 seconds. And over the shoulder of Brendan Carew. This goal coming 15-13 of the second.
But if you notice what the Grizzlies did on that, they flooded 2 guys on the far side, and which pulled one of the D-men over, and they had a wide open shot on that one.
Frank going to get credit for that goal, his first of the night. 4:47 to play in the second period. And Hood looking to do it himself, has it knocked off of his stick. That last goal kind of quieting the crowd here. Puck back up top, over to the far side. The Grizz still cycling that puck.
They're extremely effective with that cycle game that they're doing. They started to do that toward the end of the first period. They picked it up from the get-go on the second, and you can tell they've worked on that heavily.
4:08 to play in the second period. Eastern being outshot 34-16 by the University of Montana, and that's how we end up with a 5-0 scoreline. Eagles back at it tomorrow against the Grizz here at the URC. Puck drops at 7, and if this crowd is any indication, get here closer to 6 when the doors open, because otherwise you'll be hanging out with all those nice folks on the catwalk. Standing room only here at the URC tonight. Wells almost putting that one right inside the net, able to get it poked away just a bit. His glove keeping it back behind the net, at least for the moment. Now dumped across off of that center stripe. Lusk going to give some pressure to Parrish. Parrish just out skating Lusk there. And a slow roller back to Carew. He's going to cover that one up, pick it up, and we'll have a stoppage with exactly 3.5 here in Cheney. If you're looking to help out the team this year, be sure to head over to EaglesHockeyBoosters.com. Help support the Eagles in any way you can. You know, maybe you want to help jump on a flight to California, drive a van maybe. Who knows? Head on over to EaglesHockeyBoosters.com or find them on Facebook at Eagles Hockey Boosters to help support Eagles hockey. Grizz back with it now through the neutral zone. Knutson loses it in his skates. Eriks rubs him off of him for at least a second, and now it's back out into the neutral zone. Morrison back across his own blue line. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone, goes all the way back to the Grizz defense. Flood pushes it ahead. Now here's Best. Jake can't get a stick to it to push it over to Cole. And Hamlin going to go the other direction. Lays it off back to the feet of Owen Lee out front. He can't handle it. And that'll be icing. 2:27 to play in this second period.
Well, it'll be interesting to see in between periods how Eastern will adjust to the wide open cycle game the Grizzlies have decided to employ this period, especially a little bit in the first, but they have got to slow these guys down.
And another shot there as you say that. Seems like some of the physicality from this game melting away a bit from both teams. Fans, if you're looking for a new-to-you vehicle, be sure to visit veteran-owned Cheney Auto Sales, 133 First Avenue in Cheney, or visit online anytime at CheneyAutoSales.com. Shot taken, tipped up into the glass behind the net. Hofacker fighting for the puck down low, but Belly coming away with it. Belair trying to get to that puck out into the neutral zone. Over to Whalen. He touches it up. Hofacker on the far side. 2-on-2. Duncan Lachlan in the center. Hofacker can't get the puck to him. He's knocked off of it, looking to throw his body, and not often you see Jaden Hofacker knocked off the puck. Now a chance for the Grizz, a 2-on-1 opportunity. Thinks about the pass. Finally at the last second, but a good breakup there by Duncan Lachlan. A couple of Seha freshmen up front there. And we'll get a penalty here, a cross-check against the Grizz. This one will come 18:30 of this period. It's going to be Pankratz again. His third timeout of the game. This time it'll be 2 minutes for a cross-check. If you're the Eagles, you want to get him back on the ice as quickly as possible. It'll go a long way if they can score a goal here late in this one, especially on the power play. Grizz going to do everything in their power to get to the locker room level at up 5. Tierney on the far side. He's going to chop it back in. Over to Lusk. Lusk on the near side. Thinks about it. Pushes it down low to Thompson. Thompson skates with it. Over to Hood on the far side. Hood near side to Lusk. A swing and a miss. 1 minute remaining in the second period, as that one's going to go all the way down to Brendan Carew. Tierney picks it up behind his own net. He's got the entire ice in front of him, looking for that stretch pass. Thompson has to beat out that puck, and I think he might have, and they're going to call that an icing and send it back down towards the Eastern Washington net. 43.2 left in the period, 1:13 left on Pankratz' 2-minute minor penalty for cross-checking. The official's going to bring that back out in the neutral zone, saying, oh, sorry, my bad, should have been an icing. Actually, they're going to bring it straight out to center ice. Face-off won by the Grizz. And Thompson waiting at the opposing blue line for this stretch pass. It's worked for the Eagles in the past. And another turnover there at the center of the neutral zone. Shot taken up and into the netting.
The Grizzlies have definitely taken that stress pass away from EWU right now. They've done a nice job of collapsing in on that, and they're not allowing that pass to get by. That was a bread and butter for Eastern last year. So, again, go in the period, make some changes, make some adjustments, see if you can get the Grizzlies off their stride a little bit.
That one off the ice, straight into the netting. Right back to the face-off dot. It's convenient when that works. Best wins the face-off to Cheney. Now Cheney with it in the center of the zone. He's going to look for that pass ahead to Cole. Cole Best gets it across the blue line, but right to the waiting stick of the Grizzlies. And Wells just trying to skate this one out, get it behind his net. Cheney looking for the big pass, can't get it off. And that'll do it for the second period as the Grizz add 3 more. And they will take a 5-0 lead into the locker room, but the Eagles going to come out on a 30-second power play as they try to mount their comeback in the third period, 20 minutes away. You're watching Eastern Washington University men's hockey. by Gary Allen here at the URC in Cheney. Opening night, it was a packed house. Say about 20% of the people probably took off after that period. That might be a little heavy, but still a pretty good crowd here. Still 20 minutes of action. Eastern really needing to find the back of the net here in this third period. Gary, what are you hoping to see from Eastern Washington?
Well, hopefully that they've decided to just go full gun on offense, take some gambles like we talked about in the second period, open it up on them, because right now they seem a little bit gun shy. If they can get that one goal, you made a great analogy of the ketchup bottle. I mean, if you get that goal in there, that opens things up, but they got to figure out a way to get by more. And that, again, you start pinching your D-men up. You take a few little extra gambles on that, try to get that puck behind the net. And then I would say that if they could slow Montana down, again, they're working the neutral zone extremely well. That will help them with the speed. But I'm hoping to see a big change in the Eagles offense in this period. Just go for it. You have nothing to lose by it.
On the ice for the Eagles, Sam Thompson, Joel Lusk, Isaac Hood, and Wells and Cheney on the back. A quick whistle as Hood comes across the blue line just a step early. So they'll bring it a couple steps outside of that blue line and let Lusk and Dittman battle it out. Now go straight to Hood. He tried to go back to Lusk.
And Eastern has the talent with some players that they can, if they open it up on offense, they can put the puck behind the net. They just got to get that first goal to get that momentum going for them.
Well, really, after that last Cal game and this game, you really don't want to get shut out 2 games in a row, especially with big scores like this.
No, you don't.
Even one goal goes a long way in helping your confidence in Saturday night.
Well, what I'm talking about, you look at, you got Hood, you got Lusk, you got the Best brothers, you got Flood out there, Thompson. They got the offense. They just got to get that first goal in to gain their momentum and confidence that they can put this puck in. I think that's what's happening. They're a little shy right now.
That one sticked away by Carew. Eagles being outshot 36-16 so far in this one. A bouncing puck off into the corner.
It almost looks like Eastern went to a conservative style and started in that second period rather than, because they were more free-flowing and more offensive-minded in that first than they were in the second.
Well, in the first half of that second period, we saw it really kind of in the middle third of that period, where the Eagles had a couple of those breakouts and just couldn't get anything going, because every time they got into the attacking zone, they needed fresh skates because they'd been on defense for so long.
Yeah, and they played a defensive game, but it's hurt their offense by playing that style.
All right, out front, nobody home. It's going to go to the far side. Back up top now. Shot taken, bounces off into the corner. Looking to throw his body is Pablo Frank. He's got 1 goal tonight. Best across the blue line. He's going to bring it to the right side. Cole Best, a shot into the glove of Kevin Moore. $17:40 to play here in Cheney, opening night. If you're looking for tickets for tomorrow night's game, you can go to EWUEaglesHockey.com. Get out here. It's going to be a packed house. Be sure that you are out here early tomorrow for these 2 teams. Puck right out front to Joel Lusk. He tries to stuff it in and just not enough there. A big save by Kevin Moore from point-blank range. But there it is, Gary. We talked about it. They're knocking on the door their second time in the last couple of minutes.
Well, again, it's a mind shift from playing more of a defense style to say, no, we're going to just really zero in on offense. So you start attacking more like you just saw the last 2 plays on there, and they got a couple good opportunities.
Well, I hate to be this guy at this point, but with Eastern Washington down by 5, you're right. Pump the offense. Get that goal. If you're going to lose by 6, might as well lose 6-1. Get that goal. Get in the back of the net. Find that confidence. Because right now, only 3 players on this team have scored all season long, and that's just not going to cut it this year.
No, not in this league. It won't. But again, that's the bright side. Eastern has the talent to do it. They have just got to start believing that they can, and that's where you start putting some pucks behind the net. You get that belief. And here's a penalty coming up. Here's another golden opportunity for Eastern.
Is that
with a man
Eric?
advantage? And I think it's going to be a cross. Well, I know it's going to be a cross check. There's no doubt. But here's a great opportunity for him right now.
Ryan Carew sent spinning on that check from Anderson, who's going to take a 2-minute timeout. But you never want to see a player down on the ice like that, so unconcerned about where they're spinning that they hit the net, they don't even notice. Usually that's an indicator of something potentially a little bit worse. Trainer Jose out there making sure that Ryan Carew knows where he's at. Make sure he's healthy, happy. And there he is. That's a defender that Eastern can't really afford to lose at this point in the game. That line with Carew and Wells has kind of become the number 1 line. I mean, they've got Tierney and Eriks listed as the number 1 line, but I think we've seen Wells and Carew out there just as much, if not more.
Yeah.
So face-off won by the Eagles. They are on the power play. Shot taken up and over the net. Bouncing puck back behind the goal. Hood tries to feed out front. Bouncing puck. Eastern Washington finally gets on the board.
Well, what was great about that play, you saw it with Thompson. He got the puck and kind of laid it back, and I think it was I want to say it was Hood that got it, and then he just kept going behind the net, picked up the puck and buried it inside. Hopefully that gets Eastern believing, like, hey, we can do this. That was a great answer on that one. We'll see what happens, but hopefully it opens up Eastern's offense.
And a big save on the back end by Brendan Carew to keep this one at 5-1. Big stand-up play there by the netminder.
Well, see, now you got the crowd into the game, back into it. Eastern's putting a little bit more pressure on this. You got a big save like that, that's going to bolster up your confidence. So hopefully Eastern can put that puck behind the net in the next 2 minutes, because that could start making the Grizzlies a little bit nervous.
That one clangs off of the crossbar. And a big hit by Lusk. You can see a new life back in this Eastern Washington team. Pass from one knee, now back out front. Here comes Lusk. Lusk across the blue line. Loses it. He's got Hood in front of him. That's where he goes with the puck on the right side. And they're going to call that offside with Hood 2 feet behind the blue line. Normally we don't have quite the bird's eye view of the blue line, but
you nailed it right on the head. That goal gave Eastern a whole bunch of life, and that's what happens when you start putting that puck in the net. You start believing, and all kinds of things can happen after that.
Back through the neutral zone, as that's going to go past Stevenson, and Hofacker throwing the body. Back down low. Cheney thinks about it, winds up, takes a shot, deflected wide of the net from the slot. Stevenson knocked off of the puck. And you're right, the crowd right back into it, Gary. They're trying to will this team to a comeback.
Well, it's a huge burden with getting that first goal. Now they can start saying, yeah, we can get it behind him. And so that picks up your play automatically. But again, I think we hit it. Take a few gambles on offense. You have nothing to lose by doing that. And I'm sure the coaching staff has talked about it because they're top notch. They know that's what they're going to have to do. So
Face-off won by the Eagles. Best quickly trying to turn that one. Back out into the neutral zone. The Grizz with it. Now they're having troubles in neutral ice. 3 Grizz on the close side. Make that 4. Big hit at the blue line. Best trying to pick that up. Couldn't get it to Flood. Now Flood going to chase it. He's going to go all the way to the end wall. Jake Best feeds that back down to his brother Cole. Now Flood having to chase over to the far side. He goes back to Cole behind the net looking for somebody out front. Nobody there for Cole. Jake battling for the puck, and now here come the Grizz the other way. Montana across the blue line, going to dump that all the way in off of the back window. First player in is Malkowski. Tierney to the far side. The chance here for Flood if he can get past Henriksen. Doesn't look like it. That'll be an offside. 14:27 to play in this third period.
well, if you look at that first goal Eastern got, that gave them more life. They're a little bit quicker. And that's how Montana, they're kind of not sure, even though, don't misunderstand me, Montana's got a great squad. But they're not as free as they were before when Eastern was sitting back a little bit. Eastern has a lot of momentum right now, and I think it's making the Grizz think at least, and that's what's important.
And Best and Creamer's going at it here on the near side.
Well, I'm not sure if they're going to take both or one. Maybe we should get an interview with Swoosh and see what his take on, because he had a bird's eye view of it right down there.
And Hood's still trying. They're just going to send Hood straight to the locker room for this. Not sure what he said, but I can't imagine that whatever that penalty was rose to the occasion of a game misconduct.
No, it had to be some kind of chirp after that, because that makes no sense whatsoever, because the Montana player, I think, what is it, Hendrickson? He's the one that came in. He was the third guy in on it, so I can't see where Hood got booted.
Or not Lane Eric's. Mac Tierney picked up a third man in penalty earlier.
So this will be an interesting call, and hopefully the officials use the mic on this one, because that one has to be stumped.
We'll see if we can get an answer from the scorer's table. But if you're Eastern Washington, Isaac Hood is not who you wanted to see sent to the locker room early.
No, he's a main force on offense for him. But it'll be a real. I'm intrigued by what they're going to call in this one, because I just saw nothing what Hood did that would constitute getting booed out of this game, unless again he said something to the official linesman and the official caught it.
I think that had to have been what it was, because he was skating towards the box, and the official was like, nope, never mind. You're heading to the locker room.
But something fired Isaac Hood back up, because he was starting to go, and then all of a sudden he turned around. And so I don't know if a Grizzly said something to him.
But they're going to give him a 5-minute major for this one at 5:33.
But I can't figure out how Hendrickson, he's got to be getting them almost as much, because he's the third guy in.
Very clearly, too.
Oh, yeah, there was no mistake about that. He went right toward it. So
we'll wait for the official call here.
And for the most part, I thought the officials done a fine job. They let some things go in the first. You could see that, but then they've kind of clamped down a little bit. You don't see that chippiness as much as you did in the first, but
no, they definitely kept the game under control. We were worried a little bit in that first period that it might get out of control, but they've done a good job. Yeah,
because you could see what the Grizz were trying to do, and it was working, and they kind of clamped down on it. But this is baffling on see why Hood got that penalty.
We'll see how many players they put in the box. There's one in the Grizz box, nobody in the Eastern box, and a 5-minute major. on the board. I'm intrigued to know why there's a Grizzly player in the box and no penalty.
Unless they gave him a 10.
So here we are. Eastern Washington on a 5-minute penalty kill. Not their first time they've had an extended penalty kill today. They were able to kill off the first one, a double minor in the second period from Mac Tierney for a third man in penalty. Bad news for Eastern, as tripping up was Ryan Carew, leaving a 2-on-0 for the Grizz.
The only thing hard with this 5-minute was Eastern was starting to gain that momentum. You could start seeing them put a little bit of attack on Montana. So now they're going to have to come back and play more of a defensive style.
And I thought that went in, but Carew ended up saving that one, or they waved it off for some reason. So Eastern escaping with one there. And for those of you new to hockey, a 5-minute major penalty does not disappear if the Grizz score. Eastern going to be shorthanded for the full 4 minutes, 33 seconds remaining of this penalty. Puck back behind the Eastern net as Eriks turns, surveys the ice, sends it all the way back down, playing pass with Kevin Moore. Moore going to leave it off for his own man, and actually in net now. Looks like Nash Wilson. So there's a chance that I've been calling Mr. Wilson Mr. Moore all night.
No, he had to just come in on the third because Moore was in net in that second.
That makes me feel less crazy, which is always good on these broadcasts. 3:54 left on the major penalty to Isaac Hood. Eric's looking to line him up. Now goes to the near side to Toyala. Stevenson out there doing some ice capades, but able to break up that play. Kramer off to the far side, now near side. Behind Tierney, shot kicked away by Brendan Carew. That's what you can do when you're 6 feet 2 inches. Morrison for the Grizz, now down low. Morrison on the near side. He's going to play it all the way across. Nobody there. As Knutson circles with it. Knutson to the Pack 8 logo. Now to the far side. Blocks it straight down. And all the way up to the top of the zone. Wagner able to keep it in. He's going to go to the far side to Knutson. Back up top to Wagner. Wagner kicked off by Flood. That's going to go down the ice. 2:44 left on the power play.
You got to tip your hat to the Grizz, though. They got a nice little cycle play on top of the slot. They do a nice job of moving that puck.
Morrison with it. Tries to get it across to Knutson. He can't find it. Now Balk on top of the zone. Thinks about going near side to Hamlin. Goes all the way down low. Now up top to Hamlin. Over to the far side. Hamlin plays with it. Going to feed it down low. Nobody home in the center of the ice. 2 minutes remaining on this major penalty. Hamlin tries to feed it down low. Can't get to it. Wells kicks it off. Over into the Zamboni corner. Hamlin again back up at the top of the zone. The Grizz doing a good job of cycling the puck, but couldn't get a shot off until then. A good 30 seconds in the zone prior to that. Knutson, top of the circle, has it poked away. And now Flood wisely sends it down the ice and heads back to the bench.
Well, you can definitely tell that's Grizzlies. One of their main attack is that cycle play because they do down low in the top of the slot. They do a really, really solid job of that.
This one chopped down into the corner. Grizz with it. Back over to Asacchini of Eastern Washington. Touched up at the blue line. Trying to stick with it was Thompson. 55 seconds left on the major penalty to Isaac Hood. That one's knocked straight down, bounces off into the corner. Parrish takes the shot. It's deflected behind the net, lifted back out over the top of the cage. Now Lusk trying to carry it out, able to get it into the neutral zone. 30 seconds left on the major penalty. Eastern not out of the woods yet. 25 seconds left. Parrish. Now here comes Lusk. Lusk parallel to the blue line, now across the center logo. Blue line on the far side. Looks to dodge one man and loses the puck. As the Grizz bring it back up the ice. In front of the penalty box door, Pankratz goes, door opens, back to 5-a-side hockey, Eastern Washington, their second long penalty kill of the night. And now Hofacker, a couple of people in front of him. He makes two men miss. And then rims it around. And a nifty play there to get the puck to Creamers. He has one on the night, trying to bring it towards the goal mouth, and the whole goal dislodged from behind the crease as Brendan Carew covers it up.
That was a big kill by Eastern on that one, and we'll see if that will continue with the life over on their offensive attack. But you can't say enough about the Grizzlies on how they just cycle that puck. It's constant motion. They don't even stop the puck to pass. They just do a slap pass, tape to tape off it, and you can tell that's part of their arsenal.
And you can tell that some of these guys have played together for a long time, because these behind-the-back passes aren't something that you pick up in practice.
No, there are a lot of blind passes. They know exactly where they're at. So, yeah, I don't know how many are back from last year, but I would say the majority of them. Or they've all played one time or another, because, yeah, they're doing a lot of passing that you just don't do when you first start off with a new squad.
So back to the top of the zone to Frank. Bouncing right out front. Carew is run over, and he is livid with the officials. That's the second or third time that there's been a man that's come through his crease and given him a little bump.
That's third time. And then, unfortunately, I think it's twice has been a goal on that. And
officials having a conversation with the scorekeeper now.
And like we said, for the most part, the officials have done a good job of corralling this game, but you got to wonder how you can – oh, no, they did wave it off. Okay, because I was going to say –
There's that one that they waved off. I'm not sure why they waved it off the last time. And they're going to bring this one back out into the neutral zone. They're going to side with the netminder here.
And that's a good job. The officials conferred with each other, because the one guy, he started to wave it off. The other one said it was good, and I'm glad to see that they talked about that. Because like we were talking about, they've done a good job, and I don't know how they could have missed that little rub.
This referee association brings in guys from all over the West, and you can see that they work really well together.
Yes.
It's one of the high-quality aspects of having a referee organization like that in your building.
Yeah, like we said, they've done a good job overall tonight, so that's why I'm glad to see they conferred and called that off.
And there's another one of those blind passes. This time Cole Best wears it, and now Trenton Wells wears it. Best has Flood in front of him. That's where he's going to go. Flood trying to get past that last defender. Gets tied up by Anderson along the wall. And this time he takes Anderson over the top. Pins this one against the wall. Frank gets his back. 8 minutes to play. Puck frozen against the wall. So we'll bring this one back out to the near face-off circle and have a face-off in the Grizz end of the ice.
Well, Flood's definitely a grinder. And so he's not afraid to go in the corners, do the dirty work on that one. I think with Henderson on that one, he thought he was going to hit him up on top, and Frank did a great job of ducking and lifting him right over the top of him. But that's his style of game. He is a definite grinder.
So we'll get an update on Isaac Hood, but looks like he may have made contact with an official during all of that. And that's why he got sent to the locker room. This one stays in. Lusk picks it up as it bounces back across the blue line out front. And another big save by the Montana Tenders. Balk on the far side. He's battling Eriks down into the Zamboni corner. Rims around. And now giving chase is Belair. Freshman out of North Bend really giving chase on that puck. As Thompson and the netminder come together.
Yeah, Belair is going to be one of those players. Once he gets used to this, he's gonna be a good hockey player for Eastern. I'm impressed with that kid. He just has to get used to this style of play up here, but he's going to be a decent find.
It's a little bit quicker than where he was before.
Yeah. And again, as long as he uses his size to his advantage, he can go around people quite easily. So he's a good steal for Eastern. He's going to turn out to be a good hockey player for him.
Across the blue line, here come the Grizz. Right out front, bouncing puck again. Carew covers that one up. Owen Lee there to try and make sure that he doesn't play it again. Eagles getting outshot 46-22 in this one. If I had to put my finger on one thing about this game, Gary, that would be it. Eastern's just not getting the puck on the net nearly enough.
Yep. And I think they're still trying to find the identity as who's their snipers on this squad. But that has hurt them last weekend and so far in tonight's game.
Swing and a miss there by Owen Lee. He's knocked down again by Eriks. A couple of players falling all over the ice on the backside. A good thought by Morrison as he came across the top of the crease. Eastern not able to clear the puck. And another chance for the Grizz. Morrison with it along the low wall. Flood now trying to get in there and dig it out. Morrison comes away with it. He's going to walk it towards the goal mouth. He's got Lee waiting on the near post. Lee makes one-man move, shot, and again, Brendan Carew dives out, takes that one right off of his stick. It kills the play, gives his team a chance to get some fresh skates.
Yeah, even the score is 5-1. Cruz played a solid game tonight. I mean, there's probably a couple he would like to have back, but overall, he's had an outstanding game, especially facing 47 shots. He's just a solid netminder, plain and simple.
Lusk tries to clear that one off of the wall. Gets it over to Belair. Belair fighting for it down low for Eastern Washington. Now he's going to come across the blue line. Knocked off of the puck, but then gets right back to it. Now goes to the far side. Thompson picks it up. Tries to get nifty with it as he fed it over to Lusk, but just behind him. Out into the neutral zone, all the way back. And you can see the Grizz aren't taking any chances. They're planting a defenseman at their own blue line. And they're going to make Eastern work for any sort of possession in that end.
Yeah, no question about that. One thing I've been watching Belair, and I noticed that down in California, he has a high IQ. He seems to know, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I want to put the puck. He does a really nice job of that. And that's why I was saying he's going to be a good find. But if you look at Montana, you look at Eastern, you look at their goaltending situation, both of them, I don't know who Montana's number one person is or two, but both of them are really outstanding. And Eastern has Carew and they have Sam Brash, who's just impressed the heck out of me down in California last week. So the goaltending situation for both squads, they're in good hands.
But I think at this level, you almost need a 1A and a 1B just with as many games get played in a weekend. Last weekend's a perfect example.
Yeah.
You can't play one guy all 4 games.
No.
And those are league games. You can't throw a nobody in there either.
Right. And that's why I was so impressed with Brash last weekend. I mean, he got thrown in, freshman. He definitely had an outstanding couple of games down there. Very impressed with that kid.
Nothing against Carew, but
oh no,
I hope that Sam gets the start tomorrow, just so this crowd can see what they've got to look forward to for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, Crew's just a solid wall for Eastern. I mean, the guy's a very solid netminder, but it's comforting to know that you got Brash that could come in at any time, and you're not going to lose any ground off of it.
Quick whistle.
And that's a luxury most coaches would love to have.
Puck battle behind the net, up and into the netting in front of the Zamboni door. 4:42 left to play here in Cheney.
See, and that 5-minute penalty, I think, took a little bit of wind out of EWU because they were really coming on strong, and they had the Grizzlies chasing them a little bit on that one. I mean, unfortunately, the 5-minute happened.
The 5-minute, and they lost Hood, who's really kind of been the leader on that line, breaking out of the defensive zone.
Yeah, he's someone you got to keep in that lineup. He's that valuable.
A battle there by Cole, trying to send it over to Jake Best. Down near side. Best going to send it in and rim it around.
But Eastern, if they can come back tomorrow and figure out, okay, well, how are we going to gain a little more offense? And one thing that happened to them last weekend is they get behind like 2-0, 3-0. That changes quite a bit of what you're planning on doing. So hopefully they get a quicker start tomorrow, and then we'll see how they play on it, because you can see they have the offense. They just have to break out. And
we saw that against San Jose State.
Yep.
That they gave up those 3 goals in the first 8 minutes or whatever it was, and then came out and pretty much shut them down for the next 45, 50 minutes.
I thought both of the games San Jose Eastern easily could have won. I thought they outplayed them for the most part in both games. They just fell behind so early, and that takes a lot of energy.
Bel Air. Whalen just not fast enough to get there just yet. He'll catch up to the speed of the game here, and those will be those types of plays that he's going to break out on.
Oh, no question in my mind about him.
Wells now going to give chase off the glass in front of the bench, and now it's going to roll its way down towards the Montana netminder Wilson. Wilson from Monticello, Minnesota. I wish he was on our team just so that we could say that. It's fun to say. Monticello, Minnesota. Kind of feels like a Dr. Seuss book, but 3 minutes left. Eastern trailing 5-1. That was the Grizzlies' 50th shot of the game. Crowd here still in their seats, but not as lively as they were before.
You know, if Eastern can get one more in there, they're going to explode again. But I've been impressed with how many people they're just here. They're enjoying themselves. A little quiet though, like you said, but that.
Puck back up across the blue line. Eric's now battling in the Zamboni corner. Puck up and then jumps out. And Tierney being a tabletop there right at the top of the crease. That's going to roll its way all the way down the ice. That was touched up. 120 seconds left between these two clubs. Back at it tomorrow here at 7 o'clock and online. Frank right out front. Flood trying to poke it home and can't get it past the leg pads of the netminder Wilson. Now the other way. This one chipped up and just over the glove of Carew, but wide of the net. .90 seconds remaining. Big hit by Flood. They chase it back behind his own net as Knutson. Grizzlies a couple of one-touch passes through the neutral zone. Best looking to grab it right out front. Kicked away by the skates of Carew. And Knutson able to corral it for a moment. Now a point blank over the top of the cage by Morrison. Under a minute to play as Tierney, I don't think realized that the puck was there. Kind of sealed on top of it. And they're going to get a rough here against Montana. It'll be their 10th penalty of the game. Actually, might be against Eastern. Looks like it is. Tierney going to take a rough laying on the ice. It's an interesting call. I didn't see what happened. I clearly missed something. I've never seen.
They may reword that.
I've never seen a rough from somebody laying on the ice. Maybe a delay because he was on top of the puck.
I would say that was more.
But
would be like it.
Yeah. At least they're going to finish this one down a man. Not the way that they wanted to end tonight. Bouncing puck, low wall, Hill with it. Weisenberger on the near side. And Carew able to hold on to that one with 17 and a half left. I give a big shout out to all of our sponsors for helping make this year what it's going to be for Eastern Washington, for supporting the team. Barrel House Pub and Pizza, where everybody's going to head here after the game. Box for Fighting Northwest Signature Hockey Apparel. Get yours now at b4fhockey.com. Cheney Auto Sales, located at 133 First Avenue. Head on down there, or CheneyAutoSales.com. The Tea Party Podcast, and of course, the Eagles Hockey Booster Club. Montana going to take game one of the weekend, 5-1, out shooting Eastern 52-24. Eastern falls to 0-5 to start the season, but they were able to find the back of the net in this third period, which hopefully means good things for tomorrow night here at the URC. For our camera gal Ashley, our graphics gal Kayla, our color guy Gary Allen, I'm Tyler Pisani saying good night, go Eags, and we'll see you at the Barrel House.